Oh man. So leaving in 2 days.
Yep. Leaving on Saturday.
Man. How long? I've been here a month, right?
You?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I picked you up,
I think it was a Saturday.
it was when Chris was still somewhere. Yeah, more or less 1 month, because it was in the weekend that Chris was doing the workshop, so it was
Mhm.
on the mid-May, and we are now Saturday is going to be mid-June, so yeah,
It's
it's going to be 1
crazy.
month.
It was so interesting for me because like the first like week or like half a week
Yeah.
felt so long,
Really?
and then the rest of the time went by quick. But
Do you think it was the adaptation period that you had to maybe adapt a bit and come back? I mean, you were also traveling from the US, so
yeah, I think that's part of it. But I've noticed that like with traveling anywhere, there's sort of like the beginning feels very long, and then you're
Okay.
like, oh, this is interesting. Time feels long, and then things go
Suddenly.
by fast. I think what it is I think it's adapting. I think when you're put in a new environment, so like when I first got here, everything's new, so everything like is
You need to process all
yeah,
that.
exactly.
And
So everything
it makes the time maybe going slower.
yeah, exactly.
And once it's already controlled
And then I get a routine, and it's like, oh,
it gets
it's
in the backup of the back of or your mind. So you need to make the effort to, okay, I'm in a different place and I need to understand this, or to know that this is different, working a different way.
Mhm.
It's already kind of
Exactly. Like the first week, it's like, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or it's like now after a couple weeks being here, it's like, oh, it's already Wednesday, because it's just like I have my daily routine, I have my weekly routine, so everything's sort of just like, don't have to think about it, it just flows in. But it's crazy, man. Like,
But how makes you that feel? I mean, what is your feeling about it?
about being here.
You like no about these actually different feelings that you had at the beginning, slow and then now kind of fast. What is the one that you enjoy the most?
That's a great question. I mean, I think it's like now I think there's more to enjoy. Well, it's like it's backwards. I think it's always you always want the other. It's kind of like when you're a kid and you want to be old, so you have responsibilities, and then you're old and you have responsibilities and you want to be a kid. Like when I first got here, I'm like, oh, I want more stimulus,
Yeah.
right? And now it took me a while, but I think one of the lessons that I learned here, which was really good for me, was just being able to sit with myself and not give myself that stimulus, and sort of like we were talking about before, like work from within to without. And I've been able to sort of align myself or get into that feeling more so, or it's a process. I'm not going to say I'm there. I don't think anyone's there, but it's sort of getting excited about that process. And then it's like now I feel like I just have more opportunities. As soon as I settled in and I'm like, okay, this is going to be a little bit more of a solitude thing. And as soon as like I accepted that, then I was meeting more people, and then I had more opportunities, and then I had less solitude time. So as soon as I was like, I enjoy this, I like this feeling, it was like, then I was presented with something else. So I think there's like
one part of you open to other stuff.
Exactly.
Actually, when you embrace that situation.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know
Accepting.
I don't know what to make of it exactly, because it's like sort of I don't know, but it seems like I've learned like a little key of like moving through something, like the trite phrase, you can't go over, you have to go through it. You have to, the only way out is through. If you've heard that before, is by sitting with it, accepting it, and then once you find joy in it, then it's no longer an obstacle. It's just there, and then
other things come.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Awesome.
It's like it's
That's
exciting.
nice.
So
That's really cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I would qualify it as superior or inferior to how I am. Like these other feelings, I don't think they're better or worse. The way that I'm trying to look at it is it's all part of a process, and I'm just trying to trying to enjoy that as much as possible.
Yeah, that was my question actually. Which one you were getting more fun or more joy from?
Mm-hmm.
That was actually the question. Because I agree, it's not like if it's good or it's bad, worse and better. It's more within which of this process at the beginning or now
Mm-hmm.
are you having more enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you more or less kind of reply already.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird sort of thing. Like I got back into reading a little bit, like
Mm-hmm.
reading that book. I don't know, because I feel like for me, reading has to be stimulating. I feel like for all of us, it has to be stimulating in some way. Otherwise,
Totally.
you're just looking at words.
I agree. That's why I normally don't read any novel, or it can be stimulating a novel, but
Mm-hmm.
normally I look for books that are more kind of teaching me something directly, or
Mm-hmm.
almost directly,
Yeah.
that I can get something that is stimulating me and okay, this is interesting, and you want to know more, and you want to go deeper and deeper
Mm-hmm.
and deeper,
Mm-hmm.
instead of course, a novel that is more like entertainment. I agree with you. I need to stimulus. If not, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. So I sort of found that a little bit more, and then I don't know. It's tough. It's. I think the hardest things are transitions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when you get used to something, when you get used to, okay, this is how it is, and you accept that this is how it is, then all of a sudden that's normal. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so say that's more solitude and less social. And then let's say you put yourself in a more social environment. Then all of a sudden, I find myself like, oh, I'm not as good as a talker as I conceive of myself in my head. Because like, I think when you're in a period of solitude, it's like your thoughts come clearer,
Mm-hmm.
or that's what I've found. But then it is that getting across. Like you still have to get across, versus if I'm in a more social period in my life, then I get used to that getting across.
Mm-hmm.
But then maybe I have trouble with the other thing. But at the same time, they both help each other out. I think it's just getting used to transitioning more.
Yeah,
Like even like this, like going from like not talking to talking all of a sudden, like that's the transition.
Yeah.
And for me, what is the most helpful is just jumping through it and just trying to put my mind in this situation, like be here as much as possible, and then that's what makes it as easy.
Be present and be
Mm-hmm.
and live the experience.
Yeah.
And embrace the situation that it is.
Yeah.
That's when you decide, when you started feeling, okay, I'm gonna embrace that I'm a bit more alone now,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a change.
Mm-hmm.
So you could actually feel that there was a change in that moment because there were other things coming up from that.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just fighting against and why I'm so alone, or I don't want to be in this situation, or you are fighting with yourself at the end, and you are blocking yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it happens in many things in many aspects in life. When we are like a starborn to fight against things, that at the end it's like, no, why? Just accept it, just embrace it, and it's going to be okay.
One of the things that I find myself intuitively, I don't know if belief is the right word, or connecting with, and I don't know exactly how to put it. The way I'll put it in words, I mean, it has like connotations with like religion and stuff, which I guess is sort of how I feel, but I don't know, it's a little different than that. I have the feeling that everything that's happening to me is part of something much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at it like this is a specific chapter in my life. It's almost like a character in a book, they had to fucking go down to go up. I mean, I think fiction is used for us to understand ourselves. It's
Mm-hmm.
why fiction is, I like writing fiction, and I think fiction's interesting as well, is because it's a reflection of ourselves, just
Mm-hmm.
in a different aspect.
In a different context, or
Yeah, but it's I don't know. I sort of have this understanding, or I try to stay connected with this understanding that like this is just going to make me better. This is just going to make me stronger. This is like I look at it like the person that I don't know. I want to be someone people look up to, people can get comfort in. Whether that's with children, grandchildren in the future, or just like with community, whatever. I want to be someone valuable, someone that's helps others and has something to really give. I really want to be able to give.
But don't you think that now you already have that?
Yes. That's an interesting question. It's like yes, I think that spirit is there, but I guess here's the way I look at it. I think I already have it, but I think it's me just getting more comfortable with it, so then that I can convey that feeling of comfort, maybe.
Comfortable or accepting?
Yes, yeah, one and the same. Yeah, I would say like, yeah, comfort comes from accepting, maybe. But yeah, maybe accepting is a more straightforward way of putting it.
Because maybe we can make a link with what we discussed before, that accepting that you were maybe in a more solitude mode.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe at the moment that you're going to accept that you have already value that you can bring to the people, that you have already, despite your young age, you have things to share, I mean, you can bring value in many discussions already, because
Mm-hmm.
you have this curiosity, you have this, sorry, I was distracted now because I thought this, that you have that actually stimulus actually to learn and to talk to people, to know. And that's something fantastic. I really respect that a lot from somebody, and I do with you.
Thank you.
So I think that you have already this kind of capacity and skills to talk to the people, to ask to the people, to bring also not only to get information, but also to analyze information and question information. And it's something that is so missing in today's society. Questioning. We should question everything. You had that. For me, it's a huge a skill, we can call it like that. So I think you already have a lot of value to give, and you have experience. I know that you have also experience in other topics, different, like in skin or other stuff. So
Yeah.
I think you already you are a human being with a lot of things, and of course, nobody stops learning and building that experience until the day that we pass away.
Yeah.
So where to put the line, where to put the limit, when are you in the situation that, okay, now I can bring value to the people? Why? I think that everything is changing, right?
Yeah.
We think about, before we're talking about energy. Energy cannot be produced, energy cannot be destroyed. It's just changing, it's just transforming all the time. So we are beings that are transforming all the time. So the experience and the value that you are giving today is going to be different from tomorrow, probably.
Yeah.
So it's that process that is gonna grow. And for me, the difference, what makes the difference, is the attitude. When some people say, okay, I'm done, I have reached such a big, high level, I know so many things, I know everything, ask me whatever that's the attitude.
Yeah.
Or the attitude of being open and listen and to say, I'm curious about that, can you talk to me about this? Or I want to check this in a book, I want to check this in the internet and talk about it.
So I'll reframe it then.
Okay.
Because it's sort of, when I'm going through something that is difficult or novel or something that is uncovering things about myself that I have to be very patient with, or maybe difficult emotions, I look at those situations as learning opportunities, because I see it as a situation either I haven't experienced before, have not experienced it before,
Yeah.
or I have, and it's taking cycles to understand the depth of it.
Yes.
And whatever the case is, the mindset that helps me get through it is, when I get through this, I am going to have a confidence and an energy that this is something that can be gotten through, and that this is something that can be gained from.
Exactly.
And whatever this particular situation is, I'll be able to relate to someone else with that situation, and I'll be of value. And that, but it's interesting. Like I think of that like in the situation. Like, yes, it's getting through it for myself, but I also, I don't know, like in those emotions, it feels like hacking through the jungle almost. Like I don't know the metaphor, but it's like at least I'm creating a path that maybe I can guide others or be like a light or something else. Like I don't know why, but that gives me a lot of I don't know
Strength.
that gives me a lot of strength.
But we're talking about the same, right?
Mhm.
It's more the attitude and the experiences that you are facing today. Of course, they're going to be different to the experiences that you're going to face in the future, but they're going to be always experiences where you can learn from.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not, I don't know, a situation with a friend, maybe a situation with a partner, maybe a situation with your parents. I mean, it's going to be always opportunities to learn and to get something from that, and to go, as you say, and to go through this with that belief that at the end you're going to get some gain, you're going to get something in return. And that for me is the mindset. You mentioned mindset, I mentioned attitude. I think it's more or less the same.
Or maybe
that's the difference.
let me clarify. I just want to clarify on something. It's not just that I'm going to get something afterward. It's that this experience, this difficult experience, is the something that I'm getting. Like this is the gain. Like
the process.
Yes, yeah,
Not like a goal, like the
journey. It's not like, oh, I just have to endure through this to get to the outcome. It's like
I understand.
This is it.
I got it like this.
And I know that's like a linguistic thing, but I think that's an important distinction.
I got it like you say. It's like a journey. It's like in the process. No, absolutely. It's not like going from A to B. It's more the process. But again, for me, it's the attitude. And you have that attitude that you can apply. You can apply everywhere and everything. That's for me what makes, something interesting in my opinion. Compared to people who say, no, I'm done. I know so much already.
The attitude of curiosity.
The attitude of curiosity. The attitude of questioning everything. The attitude of, being curious and have this stimulus always to learn new things and to question things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that creates, your persona, your identity, and I think that you have a lot of things, a lot of value to bring to the other people.
Yeah.
Already.
Well, what I hope, my hope is that I can, when talking to people, I can be someone who's receptive, that people want to share their perspective with, so that way I can get these. So that way that this knowledge can be present and that this experience can come to the surface.
But that, I understand, I fully understand. You're talking, in my opinion, or if I can reframe it, you're talking about connecting with the other. Mm-hmm. You want to connect to the other people to speak the same language, be in the same level, so you can have an exchange that is going to be rich for both parties.
Even if, so I'll give an example. So like, even if, just a stupid example. So say someone's really into politics, or their head's really around that game, and they hate Trump. They're like, I would kill him if I saw him in person. Okay, I'll talk to that person. I want to understand their perspective, and then I'll talk to the other person who's like, oh, I hate Biden. And even though those two people would never talk to each other, if they you know what I'm saying? Like if they knew what the other person believed, they would never want to be in the same room with this person. Mm-hmm. But I want to be able to connect, be sort of a connector between those people, or at least like sort of, I think what's mediator, interesting for me,
like a sort of mediator,
almost like a mediator, but like not in the same, not like going back and forth between them, but just, I think it's interesting, the journey, and I think a lot of what my mind and my curiosity revolves around is the journey between the differences and the similarities, right? Mm-hmm. So at the core, we're all the same. We're all the same consciousness. We're all the same being. That's how I understand it. Mm-hmm. And then as we go out, then we branch out, and then we have different leaves, and we become our differences essentially. And I think it's so interesting to traverse that road and sort of be like, okay, these are your opinions, these are your beliefs, this is who you are, or these are your feelings, and then see, oh, that connects, that's in the same ground as this person who conceives of themselves as completely different because they're up here. Mm-hmm. And just like highlight these highways and be like, yes, our differences are important and our differences are interesting. Like that's what makes us unique. Otherwise it would just be, all the same. Like it'd just be a monoculture. Like, what's the point in that?
That's a good way to say.
Right. So it's, our diversity is interesting, but I think it's also that understanding that we are all the same. Mm-hmm. But I think it's like it's a yin and yang thing. It's like both both ideas have to be held in the mind simultaneously, that we are the same and we are different. And that for me has the value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a topic is quite interesting actually, and I think it's part of the mechanisms to build our identity actually. And we have been talking the last days about this with religion. You've now mentioned political party. We can talk also about even football fan. You know, we live in a society that tend to separate,
Mm-hmm.
to label people. So I'm Catholic, you're Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Real Madrid, you are from for Barcelona in soccer. I'm for Trump, you are for the Democrats. So we are trying always to, we are doing always that kind of splitting all the time and
Us
having
versus
this,
them.
instead of just putting away the identity, in that kind of labels, putting away and have a deep work with ourselves that requires to put that away and to just say, okay, who I am, what is really my values, but starting from scratch. And that's why I was talking the other day about a book that for me was really eye-opening. It's called Knowing from the Known, and it's by Jiddu Krishnamurti, this guy. And he talks about this topic so well, man. And he talks about, we should actually always see the world with the eyes of a child, because we have so many judgments, we have so many labels, we have so many, that at the end we have so much noise that we don't see with clarity. So I guess that when you talk to me about what is that goal of kind of linking these people from different, even streams, I think at the end you need to go to the roots.
Mm-hmm.
And the root is to actually, it doesn't even depend on you, it depends on each individual to do the work of looking on themselves and doing that personal work and putting that layers and stuff that they have got through their lives, from education, from the parents, from the school, put that away and kind of restart and think about, okay, who I really who I am.
Yeah.
And do that personal work.
But do you think that can be facilitated? Like for me, I see that, and I think it's that exploration, to simplify it, is essentially a series of questions. And I don't know exactly what those questions are, but it is sort of just like getting deeper, or just like, how do you want to exist? What state do you want to be in? What do you enjoy? I don't know. These are just a few ideas that are in my mind right now. Mm-hmm. But in talking with some people that might not be as grounded or have done so much work in reflecting on themselves, I get a lot out of these questions. Do you think that it has to be done by oneself? Do you think one has to embark on this journey by themselves, or do you think it can be a joint effort, or maybe a bigger group or communal effort?
I think the answer for me is clear. It has to be from the person itself. I mean, the person needs to decide to do it. Mm-hmm. But on the other side, there is another part of that is that people can get inspired, and people can see the benefits of doing certain things, right? Mm-hmm. So if you are able to show the benefits of doing things in a certain way and inspire others, not by talking, but more by doing, because nobody likes to be told what to do. I mean, I don't like to be told what to do. You probably don't like to be, but with the facts, that for me is 10 times more powerful than words. With the facts, you can inspire others and show that is the right. Again, I don't want to use right, because there is no right and wrong, but it's something more rewarding way of living, more real, more true way of living, instead of just getting these shields or labels that you actually are. They are like a shortcuts for getting this kind of comfortability and being part of a group, so you don't feel alone. Just actually running away from fear instead of embracing love. And embracing love, sometimes it can be tricky and it can be challenging. But what you are describing is to show people to embrace love instead of, running away from fear.
Yeah.
So the people who are, against Trump is not talking from a peaceful and conscious part of himself, probably. He's talking from fear.
I'll grab it. 1 sec.
Take it just in case. Oh, the other one as well.
What is this wind? This is exceptional wind.
Yep. Hey.
Do you think it's gonna rain or storm or something? What's going on?
Unfortunately not.
Unfortunately not.
I would like some good rain.
There's some thunder.
But the wind is coming from there, the thunder is there. Not in this same direction.
Unfortunate. I think it's so cool though how things align, like without trying. And I mean it's a simple thing. Like, yeah, of course things will line up if you don't try, because when you try, that's fighting against what you already are. And when you stop trying, or just go with the flow, whatever these trite phrases are, like, things just happen. Like what I'm trying to hone my eyes for, like, as it seems, there are so many opportunities for anything you could want at almost all the time. Like, there's opportunities all the times for things, and it's just having an openness for seeing it or observing it or changing it. Because I think so often we go out into the world like, this is my goal, this is the one thing, and then there's opportunities for other things there, and it's so hard to revert.
To even see them.
Yeah, and to be able to pick them up and to take advantage of them. But I guess what I think it's an exercise that brings me a lot of joy, is seeing the opportunities and realizing how much benefit there is in the world, or the world wants to give me.
But that's linked with the feeling of freedom, right?
Yeah.
If you feel that freedom, you see that the world is there, and there are so many opportunities and chances and options. But yeah, you're right. There are many people who don't see it like that. They are stuck in a model, in a system, playing a role, and it's very difficult to get out from there, because at the end you get comfortable, you get used to that, and of course it's hard to change that. So even if you say, but you can change, you can have a much beautiful life, they are afraid not of the change, but to lose what they know. They are not afraid of what is going to come later. They are more afraid to lose what they control, what they understand very well, they know very well, and it's the routine.
Yeah.
And that actually is kind of interesting if
Yeah.
you think about it. Because
Yeah.
when we talk about fear, about change, it's not about the change, it's not about the things that the people don't know. It's more the fear is coming from leaving things that we know very well, that we are already comfortable, that we know, that we have been doing it for some time.
I relate that a lot to traveling. I mean, that's what traveling is. You have home, you leave home, and yeah, part of it is the unknown, but I don't know. Is a bigger part of it the fact that, yeah, I won't have the system that I know. I won't have these people that I can lean or fall back on, this safety net more so, this support structure.
Yeah. One of the things I learned from my travels was that at the end, the concept of home is a bit kind of an illusion sometimes.
It's fluid.
Yeah, it's not. So what I understood and what I actually realized is that you bring home wherever you are, whenever
Exactly.
wherever you go. So when I was in other countries, I was making that country my place, my home.
Yeah.
And then you make another connections, and then you try to have of course, the basic, you have a place to stay or to sleep. You have your connections. You have a place to feed yourself. But at the end, you make that place your home, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that brings you so much. I mean, that opens so much your mindset and your brain. It's amazing. That's why it's so helpful. It's so beneficial to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Get out from your comfort zone and being exposed to another homes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Making new homes.
Yeah, that's kind of like a different way of putting it, like what I was talking about earlier with the time going slow and then time going fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like once I got comfortable, once I accepted, like, yeah, this is my home or whatever.
That started getting a bit faster.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
Like life didn't slow down as much because I didn't have to think about everything. If that makes sense. Or I wasn't.
It becomes mechanic.
Yeah.
Certain things become mechanic.
Yeah, it just clicked in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that happens everywhere. It's like, so like when I leave here and go wherever, it's gonna be back to that same thing of like, yep, like here, this is all my shit. And then everything's.
It's gonna be different.
Yeah.
And you need to create your home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
that's
but
interesting.
I don't know. It's nice to keep it simple. Like every time I've traveled, like I remember when I first got here, like, oh, traveling light. It's like, I don't know. It makes it so easy it makes it easier to leave, I guess. Like, because I could have brought more stuff, but then the feeling I hate when I'm packing up from somewhere is like, fuck, I'm forgetting something,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if I bring a very few number of things that all have importance,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna forget anything, and that feeling isn't gonna be so pervasive over me. It's like, yeah, this is my stuff. I can stay as one unit.
It should be enough.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. It's an interesting thing to have everything you need
in a backpack.
Yeah, it's weird. Like my one backpack, it's just for like this shit, like for my audio stuff and like computer and other stuff. I don't really need it, like notebook and stuff like that. It just, for me, it's important, like to have these conversations and record them, or to be able to write, or to like those things are important, but it's not necessary. So that's why I have a separate backpack. But like my other backpack, just a couple like clothes. It's very, very simple, as simple as I can be.
Yeah.
No,
for
it
me
feels good.
It feels super good. And when I was traveling for 1 year with only 15 kilos in my bag, and then the other bag with my camera and my laptop, because I wanted to take some pictures, and it was actually more than half of the other weight. So it was a lot of gear and equipment that's at the end. I didn't even use it so much.
No?
At least one part, for example, I have a big lens that I didn't use, barely. But as you say, that feeling of that you can live with only 15 kilos, and I mean, I didn't miss anything, man.
Yeah.
And I was going to countries where it was hot, and there was countries where it was still cold, so I was even bringing clothes for both, for winters and summer. So, and I think that we simplify our lives, more chances we have to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I learned also in Canada. As a volunteer, I went to a place in the French part of Canada with a couple, and actually,
Quebec?
Close to Quebec.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually the project is called Le Jardin des Simples. That it means like the garden of the simple garden,
Okay.
And I think it was a nice name to reflect their philosophy, and they were so chill, man. I mean, they had the minimum stuff in the house. They have a simple life, The guy was working 3 days per week, because he didn't want to become super rich. It was enough for him. The other woman, his partner, was doing some yoga classes, but really enjoying the time, enjoying the food. We weren't preparing lunch or dinner, and we were spending some time and giving that love, and very simple, man, very simple. And it was such a nurturing place, such a inspiring place for me. And for me was that, the big learning I got from that experience was that simpler it is your life, more chances you have to be happy and to be in peace.
Yeah.
And actually it's also related to more things you have, more afraid you are of losing them.
Yeah.
That's why when you go to a poor country for traveling, or a country where it's a bit more, so I remember a trip in Cuba. The people in Cuba, they give you everything, man. They open the door at their houses and, okay, let's make a party, and they get the only bottle of rum that they have is for you. They are generous. They give you everything. And maybe Luxembourg is one of the second, I think now is the second richest country in the world, and the people are sad, and they have everything. They have big villas, 3 cars in the door, and they don't share, and they're afraid. They're always afraid, and always bringing, also something very symbolic is the color of the clothes. In Luxembourg, you are in the street and everybody's black or gray colors.
Really?
In Cuba, it's red, yellow, green, blue. That is something, it seems stupid, but it's such a important, relevant information about the people and how they live. In Cuba, everybody has colorful flowers, they are bringing life with the clothes. And in Luxembourg, it was, it is, black, gray, big coats, gray and black. And people always, with the hair. It's so funny,
like
man.
Kafkaesque.
It's so funny, man. It's so interesting.
Of course, I'm black and gray. I don't know. I feel like with my clothes, I like to be very simple. Like, I don't like to have any brands on it.
I'm not talking,
Sure.
I'm talking in general,
Sure.
people and working in Luxembourg and people in Cuba, and it's just kind of a maybe stupid reflection.
A generalization, but
yeah.
it is interesting.
But it's also goes with the personality. But it was very interesting to also realize that, how a poor place, or when you think that the people are poor, because at the end they are not poor.
Yeah, like, because poor in what?
Exactly,
rich in what?
Exactly, just in stuff. That probably Cuba has the embargo, so it's quite a tough situation for some things. But other stuff, you don't need it. You don't need it. No, it's like, why we need to have so much, stuff. But at the same time, when you are there in Cuba, for example, just to continue with the sample, and you meet somebody in the street, and they are very open, and you start talking to them, and it's like, okay, this guy with a t-shirt, broken here, with a very, dirty pants, and the guy has 2 careers. He has is maybe a doctor, and he has also he went to university for studying law, and you say, what the fuck? And the guy, you start talking to him, and he has such a culture, and he's such a high educated people that you say, wow, amazing. So also talking about
like a humbleness.
Yes, with extremely humbleness, because he's not just going there and telling you that, no, you discovered that after a certain time, and realizing that the guy is super, wow, he's intelligent and he knows a lot of shit. Because even when I was saying, no, I'm coming from Luxembourg, I'm Spanish, but I'm coming from Luxembourg. Oh, that country that is between Germany, Belgium, and France. And I was like, yes, what the fuck? Even my mom doesn't know that, and lives in Europe. I was amazing, man. It was like, oh shit, the people are, And for me, it was fascinating. And always taking any opportunity to make a party and to dance, to socialize. Community is so important there.
Yeah.
I learned so much.
To celebrate life.
To celebrate life every fucking day. To be present, to listen to you, to look at your eyes and say, okay, I understand, yeah, continue.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You don't find that in the Western, developed world, man.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to find.
People that are willing to sit and just exist.
So what is richness?
Yeah.
What is a poor country and a rich country?
Yeah.
you know this country Bhutan,
Mm-hmm.
that they have the happiness. They don't give a shit about the economy. So normally the economy, the health of a country
GDP.
is exactly is monitored by the GDP. The GDP actually monitors or shows the economy health of the country with consumption, production, you know, the money coming. And but Bhutan say we're not interested. I mean, it's not a good representation of the health of the country.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to create a new indicator, and they created this health indicator or happiness. Happiness. I don't remember exactly the name now, but it was a happiness global indicator or something
Sure.
like that. So they made a kind of a questionnaire, a survey to the people. How do you feel? What are your challenges? What are your, you know, they get that information that is more relevant to actually identify or to define the health of a country.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
So talking about what is a rich and poor country.
I used to think happiness was like
Hey. Platz.
could only be there if
Platz.
you didn't think about it.
Platz.
It was like something where like for me and I think this goes back to the simplicity, like where I've come at it, like because I used to try to come at life from such like a more intellectual angle, and you know like it's complicated, and you know like like and all the little bits and pieces and how they fit together, and then how this makes this, and I realized like I don't know, there's not so much in that as just a simple like, okay, how do I feel right now, like or not even like that question, but just the presence of like being with how you feel, or just like just like existing, and that simpleness of mind, I guess that's the way that I wanted to put it. That simpleness of mind is where I've been able to find a lot more contentment or find a lot more happiness, versus trying to or reverting to the mind is like the way to solve the problem of happiness. I guess that's the way I looked at it. I looked at intellect as, okay, intellect is the solution to so many problems. I saw intellect as above everything else. I'm like, well, of course it has to be the, you know, how do I want to feel, or the happiness thing, and from the intellectual point of view, I'm like, well, happiness, I'm gonna say that happiness only exists when you're not thinking about it, which is, I don't know, it sort of goes back around, like happiness has nothing to do with intellect. It has to do with the opposite of that. It has to do with the less mental you are, the more simple, the more clear your mind, the less that's in your mind, the happier you are. Like it's the same as with possessions. Like the less that you have in your mind, the happier you're going to be, because you don't have any worries, you don't have anything.
But maybe what I see now is that probably you need to differentiate two things. One is the state of happiness itself, and the quest for happiness, or how you can reach these moments, right? I think they are two different things. So the feeling of happiness, the intellect probably is not actually involved. I agree. In the state of happiness, or when you are happy in this. Actually, there is a very interesting book I suggest as well. It's called Flow. And it talks about this, when you are in the flow, when you are painting and the time passes, you know, and you don't even realize, and you are really in the flow, and you are really in that peaceful, you know, moment, and enjoying so much. That for me is one thing. The second thing is that the intellect can help you to identify what are the things that can bring or increase the probabilities of having that flow state, that flow moment, that happiness. You see what I mean? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
And that, I think, the intellect can help you on that, to making the decisions to, okay, what are the things that, instead of maybe now starting working again, I'm gonna just go for a walk, or I'm gonna just start painting whatever, something, or I'm gonna just go for a run, because that brings me, you know, that flow, because when I'm running, I don't think about anything else, and just feeling my body, and it's so nice, you know? So I think they are together. I mean, they are two different things that you need to So yeah, when you have in this flow, the intellect is probably away, but the intellect and the knowledge about yourself can help you to have more probabilities to reach this kind of states or these moments of flow. Because at the end there are little moments here and there. It's not like, when
Yeah.
people say, no, I'm fine, I really found the happiness, and they say,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you probably have many moments of happiness, and more moments of happiness than before.
Yeah.
You need to compare, but because life at the end, life is difficult, life is hard. We are such a complex, beings. We have our complexity on ourselves. We have the complexity with the closest people that we have been with, like parents and education in the school or whatever, friends, closest friends. And we have also another layer with the other, human beings in the planet, and the social, interactions. So it's super complex, man. We are always fighting different ways of seeing the reality, and we are bringing our traumas and different processes, different moments in life. I mean, it's so complex. It's tough. It's tough. But I think, again, coming back to the beginning of our discussion, I think when you embrace and you accept that, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You start kind of opening other stuff.
And that's what I wonder. I wonder if the pursuit of happiness is an illusion. I wonder if the idea that there's a moment when I'll have less opportunities to be happy and there's a moment where I'll have more opportunities to be happy. I wonder if that isn't real. I wonder if there's just opportunities to be happy and we just have to take them for what they are, not for what we think a happy moment might look like.
Yes, exactly. That's a good point. Yeah. Because at the end, again, something that for you is horrible and you could be, you will be really in pain or really suffering, for somebody else is going to be the paradise. So at the end, it's so subjective and is so linked to yourself that you need to do all this work first. You need to do all this work. And the problem is that today we are so stimulated by outside, stimulus for what happiness is, and you see this post, with people, with a big, beautiful car, or going always for holidays in the best places. That's what we think that is happiness. But it's not that, it's so individual.
It's the appearance of happiness.
And I think that we have touched that before. The happiness is this kind of flow, these moments of flow. And it can be in tiny things, and that's also an attitude and something that you need to work on that. Because if you just you think that you can only be happy when you go to, I don't know, a big trip in Peru, you're going to have some troubles to have, a nice life. However, you can see that you can have a very nice feeling of just going for a walk in the morning. That's totally different.
Yeah.
Again, it's also something that you can even train. I think you need to work on that as well.
Yeah. But then there might be another thing of like, go on that trip. I could say that this trip might have been partially that for me. Like there's shit at home where I'm like, I just want to leave home. I just need to go. And then it's sort of the idea of like, oh, the destination has the key. The destination has the key, Mm-hmm. And what's so beautiful is through that journey, it's the realization, oh no, I was wrong. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think that is the process of understanding the self is mm-hmm. sometimes we just have to do what we think, even though what we think might be totally wrong. Mm-hmm. Oh, this will solve it. Okay, mm-hmm. Go and do it.
Yeah.
Right? Go and do it.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to sit there and be like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe no, just go. If you think it'll solve it, go and do it. Mm-hmm. And then if it doesn't solve it, then you'll have to sit back and say, okay, no, it was something else. Mm-hmm. And maybe you'll chase that rabbit for a long time and go in circles for a whole lifetime. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's just how it is for that individual. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it'll just take you one or two times of doing that when you'll be like, no, it's not this. It's something a level deeper. It's something that I'm not looking at. It's something maybe internal. Mm-hmm. I would assume.
Yeah.
That's what I've found.
Mm-hmm. No, it's wow, talking about a lot of things now. We're mixing so many stuff.
Well, that's what's so interesting. I didn't realize that we'd connect so much. On
Why?
I guess, I mean, maybe I mean I was open to it, but I guess I'll be honest. Like at first I got the feeling that maybe you and I and me and Chris when I'm like, okay, I and maybe
No, it's develop that.
so I think what it was, I think seeing that you guys have a very from this experience of hosting people and doing this, you guys have what's the word? Really come to understand what your boundaries are, and like been able to do that for yourselves. I don't know why, but for me, I saw that as sort of being pushed away, almost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That was just sort of my instinctual feeling at first,
Mm-hmm.
and so I didn't.
In which way?
Just
Push away?
like I sort of dropped the expectation that maybe we'd be connecting on a deeper level like this. I don't know if this is an intellectual level or
Okay.
what I dropped that hope. I'm like, okay, like that it'll be a more simple relationship or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
More
know.
superficial.
Yeah, more
mystic.
exactly. So I sort of I don't know why I came to that. It's like, okay, they have more boundaries. Okay, I'll drop
Mm.
not any hope, but I'll drop the expectation at least that there'll be a
Mm-hmm.
deeper thing. So
Mm-hmm.
so that I guess that's why I didn't expect it so much. But I don't
I
know.
mean, there is a reason for that. If you want to know it. I mean, I can
Sure,
explain you a bit.
sure.
There is a background for that because actually, I mean, I want to talk about myself now, but I don't want to talk about for Chris. But I'm not doing. I didn't do very well in terms of setting my boundaries. Actually, from the beginning, since we arrived here, and that has a price at the end, or has a cost. So, of course, again, we were talking about this before. You are learning all the time, and for me, these 4 years that we have been here has been a huge learning, a huge transformation in many levels. Man, it's amazing. And one of the main topics, or one of the key topics, was also to set my boundaries, to learn how to set my boundaries. So I consider myself now that still I'm in this process, and sometimes the way I say it, or the way I express that I want to have my privacy and I want to kind of probably is not the best way, and the way I express it, obviously. Maybe I don't express it in the best way, and that can maybe even, and probably how you got it, right? It was a bit harsh, or a bit too much, or it was like, oh wow, okay. So I can fully understand that, but the reason is because I'm not in I don't have, let's say, the level of experience that I would like to do it in a more relaxed or more subtle or more way. If that makes sense.
I don't know. I mean, it seems, from my perspective, I mean, it didn't seem abrasive. It didn't seem harsh. It did seem something
Okay.
more practiced. It did, like.
But the way I maybe expressed it, it was maybe for you to okay.
I don't.
No. Too much. Or
No, I don't know. I think.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
No, you're fine.
Because, I mean, setting boundaries doesn't mean I don't want to connect with you in a deeper level, right? So what I understood, if I understood correctly, is that you saw that me setting boundaries, like, okay, I cannot connect with Mario on a deeper level. You're gonna be kind of a certain level, but we cannot go deeper.
But I don't know if that was from you.
Okay.
And see that.
I just thinking what could be the reason from my side, that it could be a good reason as a.
And I like that we're both doing this, because I think it's so counter to what most people do, where they blame the other person. I'm trying to figure out how I affected it, and you're trying to figure out how you affected it. I think that's something that more people should do, and I think that's a more encompassing way of getting to solutions, or at least getting to understanding.
Much more healthier for sure.
Because I don't know, I think, I mean, I'm learning about so much shit. Like, this is really like the second time traveling. Like, the first time I started traveling wasn't even a year ago, you know, and I did like a 3-month thing. So I'm learning so much about connection with other people, what that looks like, what that is to be expected, how to not be more imposing. Like, I don't know, like I'm and so I would say I'm trying to figure out what things look like more so, and I don't exactly have a good idea of what things look like. And I think my preconceived notion of what is, I guess I don't trust it so much. I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah, no, I
I
understand.
don't know.
You're
See,
also in a process.
the real answer, yeah, I just I'm not in a state where I really have a clear answer on that. So yeah, I'm always trying to find that within myself, more like of the understanding, and not try to put so much judgment on it, and not try to let emotion rule it, or to understand, well, where's that emotion coming from? Where's that preconceived notion derived from? So I don't know. I think for me, I'm really excited to just, the more I connect with more people, the more I understand the process of connection. The more I understand that it's not something that you force, that it's something that both people have to come to equally, and then that's how it grows. And I don't know, I'm fascinated by the idea of community and how it seems so fucking difficult. And it also, yeah, it's like, this is a worthy challenge. I guess I get that feeling. I'm like,
it is.
you know, because it's like,
it is a big challenge. For me, it's the biggest challenge. Relationship. I mean, I already told you many times. It's the biggest in life. The first relation that you have to deal with is with yourself. So that's the first one. It's not easy at all. So it's already a big challenge. And the second one, once you have that more or less, you can expect to healthy connect with others. And that is always challenging. And of course, deeper you connect with the people, more complex become. For example, with a romantic, relationship, or even with your family, I guess. That brings more, more layers of complexity. But it's also fascinating because at the end, if I remember, when you check a documentary about history, or archaeology, and they find these tombs, so there's sarcophags, and the people were dying, and they were bringing all the stuff, like the sword, or some gold and some stuff. I think at the end, what you bring in the other life or whatever, a relationship. I think that the last thing that you think about it when you are dying is all the meaningful relationship that you had in your life. Because it's what I think is
that's
about.
Your connection with the world.
That's the connection with the universe.
Yeah.
At the end. And we are mirrors. So at the end, we're talking about the same. You are connecting with yourself all the time. They are not others. It's yourself all the time.
Yeah.
It's just a part from the others that you see in yourself, in yourself. And that's fantastic. It's actually like a loop, actually.
Yeah.
But it's super interesting. So at the end, this life, you could summarize like, it's just a journey to be friend with yourself and to know yourself. And you do it through different people, with different things.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, if you want to label it as God, I think that's why God made it, or whatever. It's to understand Himself. Like, this is our way of understanding ourselves. Like, we are all God. I mean, there's a bunch of ways of saying it. Like,
to whom I want to worship,
to
whom I want to take care of myself. I want to worship myself. I want to take care of myself. To whom you believe. Don't tell me that you believe to somebody else more than yourself. You need to believe in yourself first, right?
Yeah.
Who is God?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's the notion of not believing, just knowing. And I try to make that distinction of like, I think as soon as, like I use the word believe, but I try to be as conscious about it as possible, because as soon as the word, or as soon as it's like I believe something, I feel like the journey of understanding ends.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yep, that's the answer. It's like what we were talking about. Like, yep, I know. I believe,
Yeah.
And I never want to have that. I think one of the most joyous things that I've found in my life, one of the instruments that I've been able to laugh no matter what emotional state I'm in, or to find some joy or something, is always from curiosity. I think
I can see that.
like that for me is
that.
really a way to navigate negativity, navigate anything, is because I don't know, it gives me life, I guess. Curiosity gives me life.
It's part of you.
And I don't want to lose it, So,
no,
and if I say I believe something, like, and I guess it's tricky, because it's like,
for me it's a language as well. I'm not so I mean, English is not my mother tongue, so I don't know, because for me belief is like, it's something that you think, but a bit more that I think. It's like a bit stronger.
Yeah.
No, I believe that this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
This is probably my friend.
Okay.
I know it's coming from there. Sorry.
Chucho's so needy.
Today, yes. I don't know why. So yeah, but I understand what you mean with I believe. It's like you stop the process
English,
of being more open to other ideas, other stuff. Or let me think. In Spanish, it would be
creer.
Yeah, very good.
And pensar.
Yes. Pienso en algo, creo en algo.
Mm-hmm.
Creo que, but we also use it like I think.
Creo que.
I think too.
Yeah. It's
you leave always a big margin of. It could be like this or it could not. So
creo que en Dios, but that's different, right?
That's different. Creo en Dios. That's
creo
different.
en Dios.
That's different. But you can also say creo que va a llover.
Mm.
And it's a probability. It's going to rain,
Mm.
I think it's going to rain. This would be that translation. So yeah, okay. But yeah, I understand what you mean.
So yeah, English, I guess it's there's both. But they both exist. It's
in Spanish, it's the same.
Yeah.
Depending on the context, it can be. What's going on? Chucho, what's up, buddy? What do you want? Are you bored?
I want friends. How old was he when you found him? Was he a little puppy, you said?
No, he was already big. He was like 1 year, 1 year and a half. 1 year, I would say. Yeah, he lost so much the physical contact. Chucho, okay. Hey. Okay, yeah. Chill, okay? You need to treat him well, because I'm gonna be away for some time, so
Yeah.
You need some friends now. You need some friends. But it's also unbelievable how, because there were many people saying, Mario, there is a dog, in the village, and it's abandoned, and it will be so good for your land, trying to convince me, obviously. And I was like, no, and Chris didn't want it. No, I don't want more,
Yeah.
But I said, okay. I talked to Yuri and said, okay, let's go. It was a Sunday. Let's go and we check.
Who had him?
Yurik. I mean,
Okay.
he was free in the village. But Yurik was living in the village and said, yeah, come and we can take a look. Okay, yeah. So we went there. And he was, in the square, in the big square,
Mm-hmm.
in the village, and of course messing it up because it's so big that people were scared. But then I said to Yurik, let's go for a walk, and we tried to call him. So okay, yeah, come on. And he was coming with us, and he was chilling with us, hanging out with us, playing, being curious. Of course, you could see that he was very nervous, that it's still, it was like, what's going on? I don't know you, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, I said, okay, I'm gonna bring it there, to the farm. So I opened the car, I took him like this. No, he was chill. I put it in the car, we closed, leave it here.
That's it.
That's it.
He's stuck.
And And then the most important, it was at the beginning, I create a routine, talking about the routine. So in the morning and in the evening, we go for a walk, more or less the same time. You're gonna get food twice per day. And at the beginning he was stressed, nervous, but he got into the routine, and at the end he was super stable, and now it's super, I mean, I think it's a very chill dog, even if he's a bit needy, but I'm very obedient, you know, you tell him what to do and he's gonna do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't want to go for a walk with me the first time. It was almost like I got the feeling he thought like I was trying to take him away or something. I'm like, dude, we're just like, I don't know. He had like this weird, like, he was growling a little bit. Like, I'm like, dude,
no,
come.
that's expression what he does like this because he doesn't know what's going on and he's confused. Next time maybe you can get, I'm gonna in the fridge.
Yeah.
In the kitchen where there is the batter, there is a bag with some pieces of cheese. Take that, you know. When I'm not here, you can.
And then I'll really be his friend.
It's like a treat.
Yeah.
And
of course.
With the dog still works very well.
A little piece of cheese. Is that the lap cheese?
No. The one is normal cheese. The lap cheese I gave him actually with the food. He ate it. No, the one is hard, so it's also easier to conserve. So it's it's the skin.
Okay.
So just a little piece, you know. You say, hey, Chicho, when he does something good boy. Boom.
Yeah.
And he will be the best friend.
Awesome. Your friend was coming or?
Not yet.
Not sure.
Fine. Maybe it's just waiting for the weather.
Yeah.
Because we want to open the bees and check the bees. So.
Check the what?
The beehive.
Oh.
Now it's in the mountains, so I would like to check before I leave. I would like to check it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, Mark, like, how'd you get into the microscope shit, like the microbiology? Like, it seems like that's like more of your fascination. Where did that start? Where did that come from?
I guess it's something that we share, you and I. I'm also very curious, and it's a journey at the end. It just started probably, you're gonna be now maybe probably almost 10 years ago, or more than 10 years ago. And it's a journey where you meet people, where you read books, where you watch videos, and then you start kind of changing something inside you. And I went for this trip, for 1 year trip, learning many things, meeting people. And at the end I say, okay, what are the things that for me are important, that I like, that are important for the future, that it has an impact in what I would like to do. And the word soil came to me. Okay, soils. Because in any place I've been, in any project I've been, if the soil is healthy, the project is thriving.
Mm-hmm.
But if the soil, the ground is not treated well, is not healthy, the project is not going well. There's always problems. So I say, okay, let's focus on that. Let's see if I can find a course that is good and I can learn about these things and see how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I found this course. It's called the Soil Food Web from a microbiologist in Oregon. And I say, okay, let's do it. And I did it and I love it. And it's where my passion about microbiology started.
Like this book or this course?
Yeah, it was what I learned actually.
Okay.
And then there is something that I always been fascinated is the link between the microbiology in the soil and microbiology in the guts and in their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm preparing a workshop for Luxembourg now. It's going to be the first time I do it. I'm really excited. And because I've been always interested in energy and health, medicine. I studied Chinese medicine. I studied, Tao, Tantra, a lot of things because I've been always interested in that. And when I see the relationship between these two worlds so close, it's amazing. It's really amazing how correlated it is, how linked it is, all these two worlds actually.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess this has fueled my passion about this topic. No, that I can see other connection with other fields that I also like a lot. Yeah, I think that answered your question.
Yeah. No, it's so interesting to me too. It's just like I didn't know like how you went from like, okay, the one microscope to then the one you have now, where I'm like, that's fucking legit. Like that's a piece of lab equipment to me. Like to the layman, it looks, and like just looking through it a little bit, and just I don't know. I'm like, oh, this is what science class should be. Like I think we looked in through a microscope like a little bit in science class, but like I don't know. It just it does activate something of like, holy shit, that's there. Like yeah, making the invisible visible, of like just realizing like what's all around it, like at such
and trying to understand all the relationship, right? And also for me, the big learning as well, one of the big learnings is that nature is not competition, it's collaboration.
Yeah.
Because we learn from the school, that the big fish are gonna eat the small one, and everything is competition, even between humans, competition. Always, when you are in the school with the guys, you need to be the best, they run the faster, be the best in soccer. But at the end, it's not like that. It's totally false. I mean, it's a big bullshit. We are here to collaborate. Everything's collaborating. And when we think, yeah, but why my plant is attacked by the insects? It's eating my salad. Because the plant is sick. Nature is cleaning. Nature is sending this insect to clean the salad because it's not healthy.
Yeah.
But we don't think about that. We don't think like that.
And the solution for it always goes down to the foundation of soil. How do you make your plants healthier? It's something lacking in the soil.
Yeah.
Okay.
But don't forget that the soil is not only minerals. There is the microbiology. There is organic matter. There is a lot of things. The texture, sand, clay. It's like there are many things, but the elements that are actually key in unlocking these nutrients for the plants in this case, or for other beings, is the microbiology. So they are not poor soils on Earth. They are, even the desert is full of minerals, but they are locked. They are like little safes everywhere. I think we were talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
And who had the key?
No, that was such a eye-opening metaphor for me. It's like everything. Wait, how'd you say it again? I'm sorry.
So all the elements, all the minerals, the nutrients in the soil are like lock, like a safe. There are many thousand, millions, trillions of little safes. And it's the microbiology who had the key. They had the key to open the safe and make the mineral available for the plant.
Yeah.
It's the microbiology who had that.
Yeah.
So we try to put minerals like that, thinking that we are superior in the nature and the microbiology, thinking that we are, wow, super clever guys. What we are doing is fucking up, making the plants lazy and fucking up all the rest, and all the system, all the symbiosis, all the collaboration is breaking apart because we don't understand how it works, and we think again that we are smarter than that, and we are just kind of pouring nitrogen and potassium and phosphorus, in
NPK.
NPK. That is apparently the only three elements that the plant needs, and it's not true.
It's just the only three elements that make the plant look bigger, brighter, and more sellable.
But it's much more complex. Again, linear thinking. Oh, NPK is the only thing that you need. No, it's much more complex.
Well, so devil's advocate, from their perspective, they don't care if the food tastes worse, if it has less medicinal nutritional qualities. It sells more, and that puts more money in their pocket. And so it's like, okay, this makes sense. I'm running a business, this very linear thinking of how what's the least I can put in and the most I can get out.
Yeah.
And that's the system they've found.
So that brings to the question, is money ruling the world?
I think so.
I think so too. So as long as money rules the world, there will not be big changes in this planet, unfortunately. So the mindset for me has to come from that. That the moment that a majority of the population in the world realize that you cannot eat money, and that money doesn't bring happiness, and then we are feeding a system that is sick. Now it's gone.
Okay.
We cannot change big things.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, man. This is
No.
the end.
It's all
Sorry.
good.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. It was great, man. love these conversations, and I'm sure we'll have more when I see you again.
Yeah. Hopefully, do, man. I enjoy as well. So sorry, I need to change my clothes
it's all
and go.
good. It was really great getting to know you, Mario.
Yeah, for me the same, man. And I hope that you can come back soon. I mean, you
Yeah.
want to the harvest, or that would be great. You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
come
yeah.
at the end of the year.
Yeah,
for
we'll
the
stay in
cold.
touch. 100%.
Anyway, we'll talk later. Yes, I'm gonna go now for 30 minutes and I'll come back.
See ya.